Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. And thank you so much for making it Let's Get Loud once again, where we're sharing the story of Mona Lisa. A phenomenal woman she is, and a phenomenal story she has been sharing. She has talked about her journey from Jamaica, from the dream of wanting to be a hairdresser to her mom's disapproval, to coming to the Cayman Islands, going through abuse, mm, to raising her son single-handedly and having to make the decision to send her son to Jamaica because she had to find her way in terms of a job. And now, ladies and gentlemen, after her son has returned, you heard a little bit about his approval of the love of her life. But before she got there was a journey that took her there. And that journey, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, it's a story you don't want to miss. Mona! Borrowed love.
Oh, Ingrid, yes.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
Well, of course, my son was in Jamaica, as I said, and of course, I would have him periodically come to the Caymans, for holidays, to actually remember that I'm his mom and no one else.
Right.
I have to make sure that is instilled in him. So when he came, he saw this gentleman. This is my boyfriend. And he said, "What?" I said, "Yes." I said, "I'm going to tell you to call him daddy because we're not sure yet, but he's the one who is in my life now, and we will see." Mom, if he say he want to marry you, will you marry him? I said, "What do you want?" I said, "Well, if he asks, I will give him approval."
Excuse.
Because
Tell us the journey. How did you meet him? You come on. I want you to meet. You get into the end. I want to hear the beginning.
Oh my goodness.
Tell us about the dates
actually
prior to.
Yes. Well, Ingrid, I'm actually living on the same road I actually met my husband 21 years ago.
Wow.
I went off to school in the US, to still continue being educated, to have knowledge of new things that is happening in the beauty industry.
So when you left, remember you were trying to find yourself and a job. So did you start your own business then?
Well, yes, but it was a bit hard back then because you had to have status, and I didn't have that. I only had residency all along. I did use a Cayman passport for almost 20-something years.
Wow.
Because I was naturalized, but it was still hard because there was a law in place, so you couldn't be able to. Yes, status was something really, really hard too. And because I was already divorced so quickly, I wasn't there as an 18-year-old to actually file for me to say, well, that was mom or whatever. It couldn't work. Those days were really hard and difficult. But again, I find my way. I knew people, in different positions in government. And of course, I followed the protocols. I did everything by the book. Nothing was handed to me. But in the end, I got my status. And what I always appreciate is that I got status that is basically given to me on a golden, I wouldn't say silver platter, but a golden platter. No one can take that from me. It's there, and I appreciate it because I've proven myself to the Cayman people and the government, and bravo to them.
So how did you get started then in the hair? How did you establish yourself?
Well, okay, because I was very good in doing hair anyway.
You used to do it?
For friends at home, I have high-profile clients even up to this day that at home, in my bedroom, I put my leg, let them sit on the floor like your mom, and I will do it in the room.
And that was without formal training of any kind?
Well, no. Still went to school because I
Okay.
remember
Where did you go to
I
school?
went to school in the States,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, because, and then I had a friend that is always someone in my life. Where I worked at the police station, at the
Right.
licensing department, there
Okay.
was a salon, a business place. The business is still here on
Mhm.
Highland.
Okay.
And I went there on Saturdays and I would help the daughter.
Ah.
So the knowledge that I had, you know, I put that with her. So she would have me come and wash hair and everything, and we were friends. I wouldn't get as much money because I wasn't like
Yeah.
100% qualified.
Right.
And of course, I would say this, where I'm actually a specialist in hair extensions.
Mhm.
There was no such thing back then.
Ah.
It was a taboo. People didn't talk about hair extension. It's after we start having television into Cayman and we the people start to see the celebrities
Right.
having their hair done, and
Mhm.
this one have long hair, next
Right.
day you have short
Short
hair
hair.
and all that.
Mm.
And a good friend of mine, always good people in my corner, she said to me, I think you can braid hair.
Mhm.
You know, I'm gonna show you a trick you can do. So she would have the old time wigs,
Okay. The
the
shiny
really
one.
shiny one,
Mhm.
and she would pick them off from the cap
Okay.
and would use that to sew onto the cornrow. But you could not go to a party if it's long, because if you're dancing and turning and having a good time,
Yeah.
that hair is going to get static. It's going to go
Oh my
with the
gosh.
sweat. But we didn't care. We want that long hair.
Lord.
So I was a person who was doing that. You understand? But of course, I was very good, as I said, I was
Yeah.
self-taught to do
Mhm.
braids. So once I
Mhm.
know how to braid, I had the base, so we could do that. Yes, you see.
Interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So in so doing, as I said, I went away to school. I'm
Mhm.
always learning. I'm always figuring
So
things out.
how did you
Well,
go away? Yeah. How
I
did
had a
you?
visa because of
Oh, you
my,
got a visa
I
now.
had a
Okay.
visa, US
Mhm.
visa. So I went to the States, and then I have sisters who have migrated. I had other sister siblings. They
Right.
went to the States and they know I'm into this beauty from long time.
Okay.
So they said, do you want to come? So my sister invited me to the States. And so I went and went to school.
How long
And
did
during
you
that
stay?
time, and I remember by me not working anymore, I took that
Ah.
time.
That's it. That's
Yes.
so now you have joined it together because
Yes.
when you were trying to find yourself,
Yes,
that's when you
unemployed.
went.
Yes, exactly.
Ah.
So I went to the States. And then for me, when I came back, I had to be back into the country for that 6 months. As not, you mess up. So all the ones, as they would say, you know, by the skin of your teeth back then, yeah, I had to be here. It's not those times that you left. And in the States, you get 6 months stamp anyway. So I went into courses and decided that I want to have my own business. So that's why it's here then started. And then I said, I want something with a different name. I hate the name salon. I hate the name, you know, beauty this. I
Right.
want it to be something that is unique, wherein you feel like you're at home. You can take your slippers off, your
Yes.
shoe off,
Yes.
which you knew
Yes.
for your
Yes.
experience.
Yes.
You come in, you have your tea.
Tea.
It's like you're at
I know.
home. Yeah,
I
it's like you're at home.
Mm.
You know, I don't want that salon vibes
Yeah.
and feel, you know what I mean? So I offer that service and make it to be a private service salon. So I have the first and only private service salon in the Cayman Islands.
Good stuff.
So that's how Here Then was actually born.
birthed.
Yes, yes.
All right, so now that Here Then is birth, we still want to hear now about the love. Yes, please.
So I went to school in Los Angeles.
Ooh, LA.
LA, yes.
Nice.
My teacher, Leisha Coleman Academy. And I was there. Her husband was actually a movie director. Yes.
And you didn't get involved in the movie?
Well, not really, but well, I have some beautiful photos of and memories, you know, when she taught me. I actually have one that she actually had me on a cover with her. Yes. So I'm very private in one way. I don't talk about what I have and my personal thing. I like to do more for people than myself. I like to stay at the back. I don't like the credit, you know.
But then you deserve it.
You know.
You deserve the credit. So it's about time you come to the front and take the credit.
You know, I like to stay at the back burner and watch what's happening out there. Yeah.
but you give a lot of what is happening over there,
Yeah,
so it's time for
yeah.
you to get it credit.
So I
So
met my
yes.
yes. So on my way back,
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend. She was working with the government,
Mm-hmm.
and she was stationed or working at um, the tower building.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Very senior officer,
Mm-hmm.
and we're very close.
Mm-hmm.
And I called her. At the time, we didn't have cell phone.
Right.
It was
Regular phone.
phone, right? So I called her and said, "Look, I'm back
Yeah.
from LA. Come and pick me up."
Mm-hmm.
Because I already live on this road,
Okay.
which I'm currently living,
Okay.
an apartment. So I said, "I'm back, come and pick me." She said, "Okay," she's soon be there. So I started to take my time to walk because she was taking too long, and I just want to go back to my place of business. And walking, taking my time, in the morning, walking.
Yeah.
This vehicle passed, which I didn't even care, right? Just heading my direction to go to work. And while I was there walking, this vehicle stopped, and the person said, "Do you care for a ride?"
Excuse you.
I look up and I look down. And I said, this little old man. What can he do to me? I said, okay. So I jump in the car.
Okay, so you didn't fear because you said
his ears, so I would just give him 2 hits, across his head, if anything. But
karate chop.
whatever, I said, well, he asked me my name and I gave him an alias. Alias. And I said, what's your name? Start a conversation with him. And he said, no, hold on, he said. And he gave me his driver's license. But it was international driver's license because before this, I didn't know him. He didn't know Cayman. He had just came here the night before.
The night before?
Yes. The night before, the same night that he landed in the day. We basically was living on the same complex. He didn't know that I didn't know because he only saw me walking down the road. When he passed me, he actually went to drop something at his apartment on the same complex. So he don't know me. I've never seen him before. So he gave me his driver's license, his international driver's license. And I looked at it and I said, oh, Kudritsky. And he looked at me and he said, you're the only person that pronounced my name so correctly. And he said, it's very strange. I said, well, I used to work at the licensing department and you have to know how to pronounce people's name, especially their surname, because you can have 3 people or persons within the area and you call, you don't know which one. So it's not about the first name, it's about the last name.
Very important.
Very important. And he said, wow. So we talk and he asked my name and I gave him a bogus name, as I said.
The bogus name, okay.
And I continue and I'm saying to him to turn left, turn right, but he doesn't know where he's going because remember, he just came to the island the night before. But he came here, he said, in 1992 or 93 something. But again, the place has developed things, but he still has the mind and the idea of where a certain layout is because it's still central Georgetown. And I was going on to Mary Street, which my salon was at the time. So I said, oh, but your vehicle marked Wabi and Divers. And I said, well, my salon is basically next door.
What?
Yeah, basically next door to this place. So if you drop me here, you just go to the end and that's the place. So it's okay. So I guide him, through the shortcuts and sort of things, through the shortcuts so that he will find his way.
Yeah.
Anyway, he reached my shop and he looked up, he said, but you told me your name was, I think Marcy or whichever name I gave him. But my name of my shop said Here Then by Mona Lisa, which I forgot. That is why it's not good to lie.
It is not good to lie.
And I felt so embarrassed, but you realize that's my alias. So you look up, he asked me for my telephone number. Right. And also I gave him a wrong number. So he saw everything with the telephone number because I didn't know who this guy is, this man, I didn't have an interest in him, but he struck up a conversation with me. So, very very interesting. So I say, okay. So he said, this number is very important to him. That's what he said to me. My telephone number. I said, oh, so. And he said, yes, don't worry. And that evening, he called me. But of course, he would remember the number. He didn't need to take it down. He remembered the number as it was,
Wow.
right away sink in. And my telephone number up to this day, 21 years later, is still the same number.
Which is?
2944-949-2944. My husband is born 29th of December 1944. So it was like, wow.
What?
Yes. So that's why I said the number is very important to him. He would never forget that number. So I kept that number even up to this day. Yeah. He born 29th of December. Yes. Yes. So anyway, he called me and he asked me if I could come over. I said, come over where? He said, at my workplace. At that time, he came to the island, as I said, in 1992 or something. And he had, an interest into diving because at the time, he was in the military, the Air Forces. And he went to Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, and he was working down there for quite a while. During the Gulf War, he actually went to train the military there. He's a starfighter. Yes, in the German Air Forces. So he went down there and he came to Cayman in 1992 for diving with a stingray. So that's the story with him. However, that's why I said he sought to have an idea what Cayman like. Right. But he didn't know much of the places within the Cayman Islands.
So what brought him back?
As he always says, me, in a sense, because the stingray brought him back, and then of course he met me now. So anyway, so he said to me if I could come over to this place because he had invested now his money into the company in the Quabbin Divers. So that's why he said if I could come over to Quabbin Divers next door. So I said, okay, when I'm finished, I will come over. So he was there and we talked and everything. We went for sundowner, we call it sundowner in the evening. And we're just there talking about life in general, just casual. That's it. Yeah.
Then he asked you the great question.
So
what's the great question?
Well, going on and on. I had a boyfriend, a very high profile person within the island, and he wasn't mine.
He wasn't yours?
He wasn't mine.
Meaning he belonged to someone else?
Yes. But they were having issues. It had nothing to do with me. I was just a neutral party into it. And, I wouldn't say it wasn't the love of my life. I loved him very much. I can openly say that. And I was looking for the real thing because I knew he wasn't mine.
What was the real thing?
Because I knew he wasn't mine. And as I said to myself, even my friends, I said, I know he was on borrowed time. Yeah. I was still looking for mine, my person, my special love. If he was divorced, maybe I would say, okay, if he was a widower, then I would. But I knew that in my heart, this is not what I wanted. And for my son, a father figure, which he was a father figure, but he had 2 children of his own. And I was never the type of woman to go into a relationship that has children, unless otherwise. My husband, current husband, he has a daughter, and that's a different thing because he was divorced. She's like, at the time she was a teenager. So that was also our young adult. It was okay. And so I'm always looking for someone to fill that void for my son, a father figure to help me raise him into the man that he is today. And I had to get there because he is very important to me. And if my son said no, I follow him.
So when he asked you, right, if you had a boyfriend, what was your answer?
I said to him, I say I have a boyfriend, but he's not mine. I borrowed one. I borrowed him.
But you have to finish it. What you're looking for?
But I'm looking for someone for myself.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So
what was his reaction when you said that?
Days later, it came back to him because as if he didn't get it. He just thought I was actually joking. Because I was spending a lot more time with him in a sense to sort of know who he was, because you remember he was a stranger here. So I wasn't going to let go of the one I have, but I'm actually trying to make the foundation stronger, to make sure that I'm not giving up something and then be sorry. It's not the right thing to do with some woman. I'm not going to tell you to do it, but it worked for me because I was still looking over my shoulder every time. I wanted to know when I'm going out with him, I shouldn't be turning around. I don't want to be uncomfortable, So before you even go further, I want to make peace within myself and with that individual. So I called him. And I said, I have to talk to you because I'm a very outspoken person, very authentic. I just laid and just let it, the individual or the person or parties know what I'm up against or they're up against. And I say to him, I found somebody that likes me, because he now, my current husband, said, look, I don't care. I want you. And he was demanding. He said, I want you. And I said, well, I have a son. Are you ready to take that baggage? I'm not going to say my son is a baggage, but just as I want to speak, I said, look, and I want someone who's going to help me. Alone, right? Exactly. So you have to love me. And as I said, you have to love the cow and the calf. And this is my situation. My son is not here with me. He's in Jamaica in school. But you have to know that you can accept and work through this if you want me, because I'm going to hold you accountable. And he said, yes. But I said, it's not just only yes, you have to meet him. So that's what happened. Yeah. So I introduced them, my husband and the love of my life at the time. And I said, this is it. And he was disappointed in a sense because he really loved me. I know that.
Who was disappointed?
The board one, the board one. He was disappointed, but he said, you're very honest. You're not playing games. And I said, try and see if you can make it, work with your partner. You have 2 young kids, and I don't want to be the one in the middle. And although I wasn't the person who caused the problem, but I want him to make it and try, even for the sake of the kids, so that and I always said, I don't want to say I'm in this relationship for the wrong reasons,
That's very important.
And he gave my current husband, the blessing. He said, I will not stay here and see you with another love or whatever. And he left. He left the island.
Did he take his family with him?
Yes, and they tried to make it. Well, actually, the wife wasn't here. She was off island. She worked somewhere else, Yeah, and that was it.
So that the chapter closed, that book closed.
Came and Ted said, you like him. If he asks you to marry, will you marry him? And I said, well, what do you think?
Right.
And he said, I like him. We was going into 10, 11, because my husband and I, my current husband, were together for 5 years before we got married. And then, of course, as I told you, I didn't know I was getting married.
Oh, yes. Tell us that part. Yeah, I heard the story. Yeah. I need to hear that story.
We got married in St. Moritz in Switzerland. Wow. It was a surprise wedding. I didn't even know.
So he planned it?
He planned it, yes. He was flying for someone out of Bahamas to St. Moritz, Switzerland, all over Europe. And he thought that was the right time. And he called me out and he said, I want you to get all these documents, for the resolution of marriage. And I said, really? He said, well, the people in Switzerland don't want you to come if was married, you have to have these, and I said, well, tell them.
So hold on, you tricked your mother and then now he's tricking you.
Yeah, so you see,
360.
yeah. So I said, I'm not coming. I don't care to go to this place. That's okay. Tell the government, whatever. And that was it, And I went to Germany in 1999. He was still there working, because he's German, and went everything okay. And we decided to go off to Switzerland. Went to Switzerland, St. Moritz. He said, honey, you have to wake up. I said, wake up for what? I said, it's cold and whatever. Cold winter, the 6th of January 2000.
Serious?
And he said, we're getting married tomorrow, which is the time, the day, the times are different.
Hold on, back up. When did he ask you to marry him?
We were already engaged. We were engaged,
okay.
Like in the second, third year of our relationship. But I mean, I didn't put any plans into the wedding, but he just wanted to surprise me and to do it. And everything was done. Everything was set.
Time is a plan.
So I had to get these documents. I did send the documents because he said he has to work and he wants me there, And so I got it sent, but he really had the plans for the school. And then I decided that when I get back to Cayman, I would invite all my friends now. So that's
and have a great evening.
That he told his mom to marry, and he's giving me to him. So yeah.
So how was that experience? A surprise wedding?
I could not believe this. I mean, the ring, everything. He did everything. He knew my shoe size, everything. Everything. Dress, he did everything. With the help of his daughter, she was a little bit on it. She gave me the blessing. His daughter is actually my giveaway, what do you call it, matron of honor. Yes, she gave me to her dad. Yes. And we have a very good mixed relationship. That's good. Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
And we're now married 21 years.
21 years.
Yeah.
God is good. And life is just good.
Yes.
Life has its
ups and downs. We do have our teeth and tongue, but without him, he's my strength, he's my backbone. Coming back to my business as well, he actually would come and get his hair cut.
Yes, tell us about that.
I had to charge him. I mean,
that's before you got married, right?
Yes, yes. He would come and get his hair cut, but he has to give him my $10. Back then, it was a lot of money, $10. But he would give me the $10, and it was fun for him. But after he's been there and doing everything, I said, honey, I want to learn this course. I need to do this. He just say how much, what it is, where. He booked the reservation. He take me to school. He sometimes sit in the class with me. Yes, yeah.
Where are some of the places that you studied?
I've studied in New York. Yacht is one of those that does system for people who have hair loss, alopecia. Yeah. Of course, Los Angeles. Yeah. New Jersey. New York itself, I've been to Rochester, but that was the last one. Rochester, New York. I learned how to do scalp micropigmentation for men who,
So you don't only cater to women?
No, men as well. Which is a permanent hair service. Yeah.
So for men who are
bald or losing their hair, for scar revision, transplant, they have issues with those that isn't done correctly, have done.
So I'm so thankful that you have involved everyone into this business because, like you said, you didn't want a salon name.
Yeah.
You gotta hear them because you cater to everyone.
Needs, yeah.
To their needs. So you're not only making women beautiful, you're building up the confidence
of a man, yeah. When one of our slogan is wear your hair on your head, which with a guy, sometimes they feel like they're not handsome enough. And I said, nothing is wrong with bald, but be bold and be beautiful.
Ooh,
So,
bald,
bold
and beautiful.
just the same, yeah. And I can see the change. I can see the way they feel about themselves, the self-confidence that they, you know, that they get once they, yes, they feel good about it. I have clients, male clients, they're getting married, they have that issue. They're going to their son's wedding, a family reunion, and not, you know, and I do have people from overseas. That's unfortunate with right now with COVID, and everything. But I have people all over that the Caribbean that comes, get their hair done, they spend the 2 weeks and
they
go back and, you know, until, yeah.
So you're truly blessed, you're truly gifted.
Thank you.
And you're using your gift to make people beautiful. And I want to do an extension to this final episode. So I'm going to make it an extended period because I want to hear more about your products and how you came about, how you developed them and everything, and how you branded it. Because your brand is rather unique. So I want you to share that with everyone out there. So we'll just take a break and then we'll come back and we'll do that final part in the series, yours. I want you to share you with the world. All right, Mona?
Okay,
so people, Mona makes men and women feel beautiful. She builds back their self-confidence. So if you're out there and you need someone to do a picker up for you, look no further. And when COVID is over and flying starts again, look no further. She's right here. And of course, she's going to touch base on a new undertaking that she's going to do. She's not going to go into major details, but just enough to give you a glimpse of what is to come. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining. Remember what you need to do. If you found this video informative, please remember, give us a like, tell us what you liked about it. And of course, please share it with somebody because they need to hear too. And if you haven't done so yet, tell somebody if you have to subscribe. And if you haven't, please do subscribe. Thank you again. And when we come back, you will be hearing more about yours. Thank you.